there's not the arrearage in this case is not as substantial. It's only about $1,350 and $1,525 after costs. Again, there is no CDC declaration to the best of my knowledge, and I don't know what efforts these tenants have made to obtain assistance.
Mr. Slocum, did you file the CDC paperwork?
No. What CDC paperwork?
The paperwork that if you're asking for aid.
No.
Okay, and so what do you have a time frame that you can make up the money that you owe for your back rent?
Yeah, I could. I have more of an issue with the process of how we got here. I've attempted to pay the rent a few times now.
No, that is not true.
Okay, regardless of that, so the rent is, what's due and owing?
Your
Mr.
Honor, the
Lahman?
amount due and owing is $1,355.22. There's additional 170 in costs. So our total is $1,525.22.
So,
That's inclusive of March rent.
no, I understand that. So, Mr. Slocum, are you saying that you can pay that and come current within, did you, with March's rent with between like now and March the 18th?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to set this out to March the 18th, Mr. Landman, and make sure that it's paid by then, and then you can?
If it's paid by then, Your Honor, we can dismiss. The alternative is taking a judgment now, either way.
Okay, another question is then the amount just spoken of was 1,520, I believe. Cents.
15, 25, and 22 cents.
Okay, that's fine. My current statement says something around 2,030, I believe. I have to pull it up.
Mr. Koss or Mr. Landman?
That would include March.
Okay,
March should be included.
with the 15 or without the 15?
No, the 2,000, what's your, the 1525 does not include March rent.
That does not include March, but the
Okay.
2,000 would include March.
Okay,
Mr. Slocum, what day is rent due? On what day of the month?
the 10th.
Right, that's why it's not included as of right now. We haven't gotten to the 10th yet.
Correct.
What I'm gonna do
But
is,
on my balance, it is included.
If you
What-
pay everything now, okay, as far as the 1525.22, then this case is over. It doesn't mean you don't owe the March rent. But if you come back on the 18th, March's rent will be included.
Correct.
so I'm
okay.
gonna adjourn this till the 18th. Hopefully you're paid and they dismiss it before then, okay?
Okay.
All right, it would be March 18th at noon.
Okay,
All right.
What is the amount paid then? The 2,000.
So it's 15, 25, 22.
I guess I'll have to have it all in place. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yep, you too. All right, Mr. Landman, well, the gentleman on the iPhone, what's your last name?
Flint.
What is it?
Flint. F-L-I-N-T. Like the city Flint.
Gerald, got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Mr. Nichols, with, Mr. Flint,
Hello, Your Honor. Is Mr. Gilbert back in the room?
he's not. I apologize. You're on Kirkridge, not Barrington. Hang on, Mr. Flint. Let me get, trying to move him back without, let's close it all out. Okay. He'll be back in just a second. I closed out the other rooms. Mr. Katz with Andre Christian, Barrington versus Andre Christian.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, we did discuss this. If we can get a 2-week adjournment on this case,
March the 18th at noon.
perfect.
Do you understand, Mr. Christian? You can appear like this or by Zoom if you want. You can come in and appear live like you did today.
Yes, I'm sorry, Judge.
Hold on a second, Mr. Gilbert. Hang on.
Can you hear me now, Judge?
Yes, I can, but hold on. I'm talking to someone else. Mr. Christian, so we're going to adjourn it the 2 weeks to March the 18th, which is a Thursday at noon, okay?
Yes. Thank you.
And if it's worked out ahead of time, you won't have to appear. If you work it out with Mr. Katz ahead of time, you won't have to appear. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're all set for today. Thank you. And then, Mr.
you.
Katz, we also have Gerald Flint on here. Do you want me to put you in a breakout room with Mr.
Sure.
Flint?
Yep.
Hang on just a second.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Hold on a minute.
I'm sorry.
All right, Mr. Katz and Mr. Flint, go ahead and hit join. Then Kirkridge versus Ramirez Gilbert.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you for putting us in a breakout room. Mr. Gilbert and I discussed the case. We have agreed to terms of a consent judgment. We would like to put those terms on the record as agreed and ask that the court set a control date in 7 days. We believe that we can get a consent judgment signed and submitted to the court within that time frame, but would like a control date.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. So the plaintiff and the defendant have agreed to a consent judgment whereby plaintiff will be entitled to recover possession of the property, and that the defendant will have until on or before March 15th of this year, 2021, to vacate the premises. If the defendant does not or fails to vacate the premise by that date, the plaintiff could, by March 16th, apply for an order evicting the defendant. And then the parties further agreed, Your Honor, that if the defendant does vacate on or before March 15th, that plaintiff will submit to the court satisfaction of judgment or a dismissal, so that there is not a judgment appearing on the defendant's record.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Gilbert?
Yes, that's my understanding. Can I say something else, Judge?
Yes.
I also understand that I have a couple of days to try to get some type of legal counsel. I've been trying to reach legal aid, but considering the fact, the times we're in, that no one didn't call me back before the time I was supposed to have a court. So the attorney did tell me that I have 3 to 5 days, so I could maybe try to get some legal aid, see if there's something else I could do, because I do have my family. I'm sorry.
No. You're fine. Go ahead.
I was saying, because my whole thing, I just do not want to be on the streets. I have my 14-year-old daughter with me and my 16-year-old brother, which they go to school, and I just don't want to be able to. I'm trying to find something all I can, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, the control date that I'm gonna set is gonna be March the 18th at noon, which will be past those dates.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
So
Your Honor.
hopefully you have it worked out between now and then. Okay. Yep,
And Your Honor, for the record, I did explain to Mr. Gilbert, MCR 4.201, that he has 3 business days to file a motion to set aside a consent judgment once entered, since he is unrepresented by counsel at this time.
Okay. All right. Then you're all set. March 18th is the next date if he's not moved or resolved by then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Mr. Katz on Barrington versus Gerald Flint.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, we did discuss this, and I think we have consent.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, this is a non-payment rent possession judgment case. I did discuss this matter with Mr. Flint. As of today, there's a balance due of $2,936. Mr. Flint has until March 31st to pay that amount, move out, work something out with my client. He does understand that if those don't happen, then after March 31st, they can file a writ of eviction. He was advised of MCR 4.201 and did authorize me to submit the consent with his verbal authorization.
Is that correct, Mr. Flint?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. All right, then, Mr. Katz will submit it and you'll get a copy of it, okay? You're all set for today. Have a good day. And Mr.
All
Katz,
right,
the
thank
only
you, guys.
other one you had was Barrington versus Xavier Tinsley, and that's a default.
Correct, Your Honor. Does that go on the record or?
You can put it on the record.
All right. Your Honor, this is a non-payment rent possession judgment case. Defendant has a balance due of $4,710. They failed to appear on both this hearing and the prior first hearing. As a result, requesting a default judgment in the amount of $4,710 with a writ to be issued after March the 15th, Your Honor.
Judgment to be entered, go ahead and submit it. And that's it for you, Mr.
Yep.
Katz. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Huron Estates versus Sarah Nanasi, that's a default, Mr. Landman.
It is, Your Honor. The rent to retain is $1,770.45.
Judge, I'm sorry, but that one we received a dismissal on.
Okay, on Sarah Nanasi, okay.
Not have been a dismissal, I don't believe. There's a CDC declaration.
She
But I
was
don't-
here and I told her this morning we did receive a dismissal and we,
Oh.
so I sent her away because she was here this morning.
Okay,
Oh, I have it on my notes too, that
Yeah.
it's a dismissal, that Emily had texted me yesterday to pull it and dismiss it. So we got a dismissal on it.
yeah, that is correct.
Oh, it is correct. You're, okay, Mr. Cost, you're
Okay.
validating that it wasn't an error. Okay. And then Huron Estates versus Ron Weaver is a default.
And Your Honor, with respect to Mr. Weaver, the rent to retain is $1367.67. Costs are $153.50. We will submit a default judgment in the total amount of $1521.17, with that balance due by March 15th, or an order of eviction could issue thereafter.
Okay, perfect. All right,